everyone, CWD Music Reviews here. I'm CWD and this is going to be a music review of the new Sturgill Simpson album, A Sailor's Guide to Earth. Sturgill Simpson is a alternative country singer-songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, and this is his latest full-length album. He's got a couple albums under his belt, his sophomore release being one of his more well-known, though I can't say I've been ever fascinated with it given that it's country music, and infamously enough amongst my family I have kind of an ambivalence to modern day country music. It's not that I hate country, I just don't have a lot of respect or admiration for what's been churning out in the mainstream lately. I don't like Miranda Lambert, I don't like Blake Shelton, I don't like Jason Aldean, I don't like some Carrie Underwood. The list just goes on and on and on and on. I tend to gravitate towards country that's doing something particularly different for the modern day genre. Acts like Zac Brown Band that fully embrace Americana, namely bluegrass and southern rock, to the point where they're kind of out there in the country realm. And then there's also artists like Casey Musgraves who, while she's not really doing anything different for country music, she's definitely bringing the lyricism to like a more down-to-earth and honest type of route per se. It's not really like incredibly poetic lyricism, but it's definitely down-to-earth lyricism that I think country music needs nowadays. And then you got stuff that's like way beyond the spectrum. Like recently I was introduced to a band called Pine Grove that take this country sound and fuse it with emo music. That's pretty peculiar. They actually have a new album out that came out this past February, which you should check out. And all the while within this alternative country realm, we have Sturgill Simpson with this new album, A Sailor's Guide to Earth. There seemed to be quite a bit of buzz about this record. Initially I wasn't sure why, but given a listen to this record, I'm pretty hooked. I'm definitely going to be part of that promotion buzz thing entity. This album's about 9 tracks in length, about 38 minutes long. It's not too long, but it's not too short either. It's definitely not really going to overstay its welcome. One thing I noticed that I do like a lot about this album is the production. Everything sounds so clear and so upfront and really captures the emotion Sturgill is trying to go for. When you have tracks like Welcome to Earth and the Nirvana cover In Bloom and Brace for Impact, these instrumentals sound really crisp and clear and really add density to these tracks. All the while it's not overshadowing what Sturgill is singing and saying, for the most part anyway. Though I do think that if I have one small gripe with this album, it is Sturgill's vocals at times. I mean, he's a great singer. He's definitely got soul and range. It's just his accent that kind of makes some of the lyrics kind of indiscernible at times. Not very often, but at times. Which brings me to one thing that I do like a lot about this album. The instrumentals on this album, for the most part, are really, really good. It's got something for everybody pretty much. You got your ballads and your down-home, upbeat country songs. Surprisingly enough, the ones that keep close to their country and southern rock base are some of my favorite tracks. Like the track Sea Stories, which lyrically and probably instrumentally sounds like a Jimmy Buffett song on acid, as he's talking about going on this sailing journey across Asia. And he's going to like places like Kawasaki and Thailand, noticing some really peculiar stuff. There's even one moment where he notes that the elite are only allowed to play Connect 4. And the track Keep It Between the Lines has these nice horns in the background as it like maintains a steady country groove about it that I do actually like for some reason. And this lyricism, it's pretty basic in a way, but the wording is pretty emotional and really interesting. I guess as he's talking about how his son and his children need to just stay in school, don't do the hard drugs, and just, you know, keep in between the lines. But I think my favorite of these tracks has to be Call to Arms, the closing track. This is actually really a fantastic closing track. Just all of a sudden it starts really picking up and really getting all aggressive all of a sudden, and Sturgill sounds pissed about, I guess, the U.S.'s military campaigns in places like Korea, Iraq, Afghanistan. He even has a lot of criticism about the war on drugs. Shows a lot of anger towards the drone policy we have. I love this line. They stir up distractions, they stir them with fries, until a bomb falls right out the fucking sky. Yeah, this instrumental sounds really aggressive and really upfront. It's definitely rushing towards the end, but in a good way. It's very honky-tonkish and really hard-hitting southern rock. The guitars are going nuts, the horns are definitely adding to the soulful aspect to this album. And that's another thing I'd like to note about this album, the soul in this album. Take the opening track, Welcome to Earth, Pollywag, which really emotional, really tear-jerking song for his firstborn son. How he says that holding him in his arms is the greatest love he's ever known, and now that he's come back after so long, he's surprised at how much he's grown all on his own. Starts out as like this weird kind of psychedelic synth thing before it gets into this piano and string ballad combination that sounds really orchestral and really emotional. It's just really breathtaking, this instrumental. But then all of a sudden it goes into its more, I guess, 70s borderline Motown-ish type of vibe with like the horns and like the groove it's going for. It's a nice change of pace in the track. It's probably one of my favorite opening tracks of the year. Then you also got another ballad, Breaker's Roar, which is a nice and steady, slow country type song with kind of a psychedelic vibe hanging in the background. I do like his lyricism as he's talking about how time is but an illusion. We need to like use it the best we can or something of that nature. There's definitely kind of a introspection and sailor nautical stuff vibe going through a good chunk of the tracks here, all the while not really being this really restrictive concept album of some sort. As mentioned before, there's also a cover of Nirvana's In Bloom that he transforms into this ballad that's kind of a lullaby for the most part. And he makes these lyrics discernible. It's not a straight up cover of the song, but it's more stripped back, a bit more relaxing, at least until the latter half of the track where there's a build going on with the strings that I really do like a lot. He sings on this track incredibly well. I never thought that a Nirvana song of all things could be reinterpreted in such a way and be done this particularly well. The track Brace for Impact, Live a Little. It's a good track. I like the really dirty and really ominous, really swaggerish southern rock groove going on. It's just that, for one, it goes on for a little too long for its own good, and the instrumental kind of overshadows what Sturgill is trying to say. Not that it's like making him indiscernible, but this instrumental is just way too good. Then we get a couple of ballad tracks like All Around You, which has a nice sax solo, but that's pretty much all I can say that's noteworthy about the track. And Oh Sarah, which is a really beautiful ballad, I guess, about his relationship with his significant other or wife. I don't know the context behind that. It's a good track. But It or All Around You is probably my least favorite. But other than that, I like this album a lot. I always say on this channel that a new album is always a chance for an artist to grab a hold of me as a fan and get me interested in what they're going to do next. And I do believe Sturgill Simpson has done that particularly well. There's definitely room for improvement for his studio material. All the while though, this is a really good album. Do check this out. If you are a country skeptic like I am, give this a try. You might definitely be persuaded to check out Sturgill Simpson in the future. And this is definitely, I think, the change of pace that this era of country music definitely needs to embrace fully. This album is a plus 2.3 out of plus 3. If you are a really good country guy, or just a southern rock guy, or Americana guy, or if you are an old country guy, do definitely give it a try. You'll like it quite a lot. But if you give this album a listen, what did you think of it? Did you like this album? Did you dislike this album? What was your reasoning for that, and what should I consider listening to and reviewing next? This is CWD Music Reviews here, signing off.